What is good and what is up, y'all? It's your boy here, Jay, back and better than ever with another episode of Thunder Banter. The Thunder are advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the second straight year in a row after capping off a 4-game sweep of the Los Angeles Lakers, their second sweep of the 2026 playoffs, and now back-to-back seasons heading to the Western Conference Finals. A very dramatic Game 4 victory against the 41-year-old LeBron James and Luka-less Lakers, but now seeing who they will face in the Western Conference Finals, the San Antonio Spurs or the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's get into the breakdown all right here on Thunder Banter. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to another episode of Thunder Banter Playoff Edition, Part 3, Sweep Edition, Part 2, you know what I'm saying, but at the end of the day, getting the job done and advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the second year in a row, back-to-back seasons. Western Conference Finals, just absolutely fantastic. That's what you absolutely love to see, especially from such a, bad year one of the playoffs with this group. Obviously, losing to the Dallas Mavericks in that second round wasn't fun. Now bouncing back year in and year out and getting, a groove going of really what this team is capable of when it comes to dynasty-esque things, right? Continuing the success and continuing to put the pedal to the metal and seeing where we can go. Right, there's so much opportunity for us to continue to level up and continue to level up with the draft picks that we have in the future. So continuing to win in the process of knowing that we're going to have more support and eventually, just more talent can continue to, infiltrate this organization. But at the end of the day, defeating a really tough Lakers team, and I know it was a sweep, but at the end of the day, sweeping is hard, guys. That's not easy to do, and we did it 2 times this year in very fantastic fashion. And a 41-year-old that is just ridiculous, had better stats to end the series than Shea, but went ahead and had to carry this team with the Luka-less Lakers and Austin Reeves kind of rusty, obviously not playing as much in the playoffs because of that injury right before the season had ended, and now having to face a team that, just wasn't going to let up, the defending champs, especially with the defense that we have and the depth that we have with this team. It just was too much for the Los Angeles Lakers, and I give them props when props is due because they did battle. They did do all they could. JJ Redick tried to do everything he could with his, I wouldn't say limited experience, but it is limited in the sense of coaching. But I know that he has a very good mind when it comes to drawing up plays and doing that, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, not having the experience that Dags obviously has in the playoffs and not having the experience with the team that, the Oklahoma City Thunder has compared to the, when it comes to head coach and team. So I give them props because they really did try, and I know it was a sweep, but it was a lot closer sweep than people had probably thought. Yes, 4-0 is a big gap, but when you look game in and game out, it really wasn't as bad as people really think. But at the end of the day, it was a sweep, and let's get into it really because we are going to be facing some absolute juggernauts, whoever it is, the Timberwolves or the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. So let's get into the breakdown of how this series went and how we got to this very moment and a preview of what we got ourselves into. Another sweep is in the books as the Thunder take down the Los Angeles Lakers in the second round in a sweep, now 8-0 in the 2026 playoffs and advancing to face either the Timberwolves or the Spurs as their series is tied. No, well, at the time that I was typing it up, it's not tied anymore. 3-2 is the series now. The Spurs do lead. But at the end of the day, another sweep is what this is about. Now, the Lakers didn't have Luka, and Austin Reeves did seem a tad rusty while LeBron was carrying another team on the playoff run at age 41. So there was an asterisk in my opinion. But a sweep is a sweep, and doing so in commanding fashion regardless of the narrative people may have tried to push with the whistle that OKC has, especially after meeting the Lakers, the meeting Lakers had after game 2. The Lakers, they finished with more free throw attempts than the Thunder did. So I mean, look, the narrative is what it is, and I understand that people are going to continue to carry on with this, and whether they feel like we are continuing to foul bait or do whatever because of the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander narrative. But at the end of the day, the Lakers did finish with 10 more free throw attempts than the Thunder did. So I just think that it's kind of a lackluster argument to, or just effort to kind of just you know, throw some shade at Shea and the Thunder and what they got going on. Because realistically, it's not anything that what you see online. Yes, you see the comments online of what's going on, but at the end of the day, that is not what is going on. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. So it can't really do anything about it. It is what it is. OKC now advance is the 11th team in NBA history to start the playoffs 8-0 with a plus 16.6 score margin, shooting 50.9% from the field on a historic run, as no team has done that through their first 8 games of the playoffs. So let's break down the series and how we got to this point, seeing who we are going to be facing with a little break as well. Now into game 1, the Thunder came into game 1 having not lost a game in the first round in 3 years and looked to continue their dominance in the second round versus the Luka-less Lakers with the 41-year-old LeBron James, who just beat the Rockets and did just that with the game 1 victory 108-90. Shea dropped he snapped his 20-point streak with only 18 points as the Lakers continued to triple team Shea as Chet led the way with 24, 12, and 1. Mitchell would fill in extremely well from the jump for Dub as he would drop 18, 2, and 4 on 7 of 16 shooting, and it seemed they did not have an answer for him, not just this game, but all series long. McCain would have also 12 off the bench, going 4 or 5 from 3. All OKC starters were in positive plus or minus as OKC out-rebounded the Lakers 44-41 and had less turnovers 14-17 and having more blocks 7-4, all while shooting 49% from the field and 43% from 3. The free throw margin were 13-12 Lakers as OKC held the Lakers to 41% from the field, taking game 1 in OKC. And now on to game 2. Game 2 was somewhat similar to game 1, but with more intensity as the Lakers came out ready to win, but couldn't be able to take game 2 as OKC would finish the first quarter strong and well, and the rest of the game and win the game 125 to 107. Chet and SGA would both go for 22, while Ajay Mitchell would go for 20, having 3 and 6 to accompany that 20, having 3 starters in double figures. The offense was absolutely flowing, also having 18 off the bench from McCain, going 4 or 5 from 3 again, 7 of 11 from the field in only 18 minutes, just extremely productive minutes by Jared. Thunder as a team would shoot 56% from the field and have 14 threes. Also out-rebounded the Lakers 32-30 as there was no rebounds because the Lakers also shot 50% from the field and 11 threes. All that being said, the difference was the turnover margin as the Thunder won that battle 12-20, Lakers turning the ball over. That much gave the Thunder fast break points and second chance points. Each OKC starter again was in positive plus or minus as the Thunder would go ahead on a 2-0 lead. The game 3, stuttering. In game 3, in Los Angeles, the Lakers again would come out swinging at home, trying to find a way to limit the bleeding and limit the firepower of OKC depth, but it couldn't hold up as the Thunder would win again 131-108. Mitchell would lead the way with an absolutely fantastic game, 24-4 and 10, again not finding an answer as he was lights out, going 10 of 17 from the field, but every single OKC starter was in double figures, and all in double figures for positive plus or minus. Just unreal. So not only double figures in points, but double figures in positive plus or minus. SGA also had 23 as Chet had 18 as well, with the bench finding this time, with the bench having a great, bench this time having, great minutes from Cason Wallace and Isaiah Joe as the one to step up. 16 and 12 from both Cason Wallace and Isaiah Joe. OKC would shoot the lights out again with 56% from the field this time and 45% from 3, 17 threes made on 10 free throws as the Lakers had 25 free throws. OKC would out rebound the Lakers again and have less turnovers and double the steals as the Lakers. The Lakers would shoot 45% from the field and 47% from three, but four starters in negative double figures for plus or minus. So not good for the Lakers to have negative double figures in plus or minus. OKC would dominate and look to sweep in game 4, and the sweep would be officially brewing. As next game in game 4, the sweep, like I said, had been brewing, but the Lakers would go ahead and lose this game as the Thunder would go ahead and prevail, and they could not stop the Lakers without Luka. Could not stop OKC and their madness that they had going on, at least trying to get one victory, and couldn't even do so. But the defending champs would prevail, like I had said. Second sweep in a row in 2026, winning a very close one, 115 to 110. Quite arguably the closest game of this entire series, a very hard-fought game from the Los Angeles Lakers to go ahead and win, and truthfully should have won this game because it was down to the wire, and at one point the Lakers took the lead with seconds left. After what looked like the Lakers would pull it out late after a blown lead by OKC, the Thunder prevailed late as a couple buckets by AJ, Jared, and SGA would make the difference in the ball game, propelling the Thunder to the Western Conference Finals. SGA would lead the way with 35, 1, and 8, but Ajay Mitchell would be the difference maker, having 28, 3, and 4, shooting 12 of 19 from the field. Just lights out again. No answer. Absolutely no answer for Ajay Mitchell all series long, and truthfully, now there's questions of whether you even bring back J-Dub because of the impact that Ajay Mitchell has had. McCain off the bench would have 13 points, 3 of 8 shooting, but a very important 3 when needed late. Thunder shot 52% from the field and 35% from 3. 11 from 3, 11 threes, and for the first time didn't out-rebound the Lakers. Instead, the Lakers won the rebound battle 37-34, but the Lakers again had more turnovers, 19-11, and the Thunder had 12 steals. The Lakers really did all they could and tried to scheme up things differently, but the depth in this game mattered too much as OKC would go ahead and advance to their second straight Western Conference Finals. Like I said, guys, the Lakers really tried to do all they could, but from the two big lineup to the depth that the OKC Thunder had, to the defense, and the fact that the Lakers had a Rusty Reeves and Luka out just wasn't going to get over the hump versus the defending champs, who seemed to be even better after they added a depth piece like Jared McCain late in the season, and not to mention the play of AJ Mitchell stepping in for Dub in his injury. It just especially sucks, guys, as a LeBron fan. That this has to happen this way, especially since it wasn't a fair fight. But I believe this isn't the last hurrah for LeBron. It may be his last hurrah in a Lakers uniform, or maybe not. But he will be back for one more. I think one more season. He'll be back with a loaded team, because I think that not only him, but the NBA deserves it, especially how good he has been playing for a 41-year-old and having to carry a team again, guys. It's tough to see, and I knew that was going to happen, especially once both of those guys went down early before the playoffs had started. It hit my heart as an NBA fan because it's not fair to LeBron. I feel like there's a lot of bad luck in that sense when it comes to support and what he's got at his disposal at times. Yeah, you can say that he joined a super team and he's been on some very, very good teams. I'm not saying that, but when you feel like he needs a little bit more help than usual, right? There's been times, plenty of times, that we're like, there's no way that he should be carrying this team to the NBA Finals. And that streak that he went to the NBA Finals 9 straight years, it was like, dude, like, there's no way you should be carrying this team to the NBA Finals. But he did, year in and year out. And those years, you felt like he really deserved more when it came to support and what he had at his disposal. And he wasn't, getting any of that in those years. And you felt like maybe in the later years, because he's older, it's just a given that he's going to be able to get support. No. And I don't know if that's necessarily has to do with a lot of him, because a lot of people believe that he is the GM of the team as well. But at the end of the day, who doesn't want to play with LeBron James? I mean, maybe there is a narrative inside the NBA that they don't want to play with LeBron James. But it just sucks to see from the outside looking in that that's what had to happen, in a 4-game sweep on top of that. Going out like that, I don't think anybody likes going out like that. I don't think anybody, especially LeBron James, likes going out like that. And I felt like they deserved more, especially the season that they had, the streak that they had towards the end of the season, winning all those games that they did. It really looked like they could possibly make a run with this team, Luka, Reeves, and LeBron James. And for them to go down the way that they did, it just sucks. You look up to the basketball gods and you're just like, why? Why? How old does LeBron have to get for him to have like a decent run where he doesn't have to do everything? But it is what it is. I'm not going to continue to rant about it. I'm not going to be too mad about it either, because I knew that, LeBron James and Luka and all them were healthy. It was going to be a difficult challenge. Maybe they didn't win this series, but it was still going to be even more difficult than what it was in this series. But it just sucks, guys. I hope that he comes back, and I praying that he comes back, and in better spirits and with a better team, and hopefully we get this run that everybody deserves. I think LeBron deserves it the most, but I think that, as fans, shoot, all we want to see is just one more. It would be awesome to see. But with all that being said, it had to come at the hands of my team, because I would not be happy if we had lost to a 41-year-old with no Luka Lakers. So either way, I'm happy, but the job is not finished, and we need to rest and see who we play next. Truthfully, I want the Spurs because of the narrative people will say if we don't play them, and since we lost our season series against them. But the Timberwolves are no joke. Even with the 75% Ant-Man, it is a dangerous team. But in the end, it don't matter who we play. I want to be able to face the best. But I want to face the Spurs. I want to be able to, put that narrative in the dirt about them being a better team than us and them beating us in the regular season. A whole lot of that hoopla talk about, their better team, and a lot of people would take them as their favorites coming out of the West, when realistically they hadn't won a series at that point in time in the playoffs yet. They did against the Portland Trail Blazers. Golf clap. Now you're going ahead and facing the Timberwolves, 3-2 lead right now, and it's looking like we're going to be facing the Spurs as we speak. But who knows? Because Ant-Man's not going to go down easy. They just lost at home, so they're going to go back. No, they lost in San Antonio, so they're going to go back home, try and win Game 6, and see what they can do in Game 7. But I want the Spurs because of what everybody has been saying all season long about Wembanyama, about the Spurs being better than OKC, and how they've got young talent like we don't have young talent. I mean, we're pretty much two of the youngest teams in the NBA, and we have the most upside. So for us to be able to meet in the Western Conference Finals at this point in time, it's just an early kind of like Cleveland Cavaliers and Pacers, or Cleveland Cavaliers and Toronto Raptors of old, right? The Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors of old in the Western Conference Finals. We're getting a little preview of that early on in the early stages of these teams' kind of dynasty runs, if you so will. I wouldn't go there yet with, obviously the Spurs, but you get my point, right? I think that we need to bury this narrative with them. And man, it would feel the best in this scenario because of, okay, we got swept against them in the regular season, pretty much. And then to do it in the Western Conference Finals when it means the most. I'm not going to go ahead and gloss over the excuses about we weren't healthy. And yeah, we weren't healthy in the regular season, but that doesn't matter. We're not healthy now. So yeah, we might get Dub back, but how good is Dub going to be? But at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter who we face. I'm going to be happy with whoever, because I know that both of these teams are going to be a tough challenge. And I'm banking on the fact that it's not going to be a sweep. I said 4-1 on this last Lakers series. I think this one be 4-2, if not 7-game series, 4-3. So it doesn't matter who we play. I'm willing to play whoever, because we're still, the head honcho. We're still the king of the hill, and they're going to have to come through us, right? And we're going to have to, give it to them. I mean, how else, we gotta show them who the champs are, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But I'm gonna stop rambling and stop going on tangent about who we face and what this and that, because at the end of the day, it don't matter to me. Whoever is up is gonna get it. It's up, it's stuck. It's up, it's stuck. But that is a wrap of this playoff edition / episode of Thunder Banter as the Thunder move on to the Western Conference Finals to face the San Antonio Spurs or the Minnesota Timberwolves. We will be back with more Thunder Banter and more banter soon. Let's go. Thunder up. We out.